Hey everyone, welcome back to the weekly astrology and pick a card reading. This is for the week ahead for the 22nd to the 28th of February 2021. And this week there is a full moon in Virgo, so I'm going to talk about that and some of the other astrological influences this week. And then I'm going to go through each sign. So for every sign, I'm going to tell you how the full moon is going to be influencing you. So stick around for that. And then at the end of the astrological update, I'm going to do the pick a card, which is basically, that's always, if you've watched before, you know it's based on the elements. So water first, which is the water signs first, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, then air signs, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, earth signs, fire signs. So that's how I do it at the end for the pick a card. And I'll just shuffle the cards and pull the cards as I go. If you'd like to book a reading with me, go to the link below the video to my online store. Pretty booked up at the moment, but you can still book with me if you want a live video reading via Zoom. I can schedule it for the next week, so that would be if you booked it this week, most likely towards the end of next week, within the next 4 to 7 days usually, or next 3 to 7 days depending on my schedule. For astrology reports, that's a longer turnaround time. For most readings in general, it's at the moment about 8 to 15 or 8 to 16 business days. Okay, so there is a turnaround time because there's only one of me and I could only do so much each day. But anyway, let's get into it for this week. So as I said, full moon this week, but I do have to also mention we are in Pisces season now. So happy birthday all the Pisceans out there. You may have noticed in the last few days since the sun has moved out of Aquarius into Pisces, the energy feels a little bit more diffused, a little bit more soft, maybe feeling a little bit more sleepy or a little bit more tired or a little bit kind of hard to focus. That is the influence of Piscean energy when it's with the sun. It can do that. But also on a positive note, you may be feeling like you want to feel more in touch with your spiritual side. And in Pisces season, it is a really good time to really listen to your intuition and follow your instinct and your intuition and your creativity as well. So it's a very creative time for artists, musicians, creators. It's where you can really flow with your ideas more, and music and film are very more kind of enjoyable at this time. And the only thing is sometimes motivation can suffer a little bit under the Pisces sun, so that's just one thing to watch out for. Struggling a little bit with motivation, which can happen. The good news is from this week, the Mercury is no longer retrograde, so that's always good. I found that this one was a particularly intense one, but it could be because I have an Aquarius moon and it was in the sign of Aquarius, so that could be why it was more personally affecting me, and just things around me with technology were really going a bit cuckoo. So what else? Oh yeah, so that's right, I'm going to talk about the full moon. So the full moon is on the 27th of February, as I said, in the sign of Virgo, which is an earthy, what's an earth mutable sign. So mutable meaning changeable and adaptable. And it will be at 8 degrees of Virgo. So if you know your personal chart, look at 8 degrees of Virgo. Where does that land in your chart? What house? Do you have anything? Does it contact anything for you personally? Is it conjunct anything? That sort of thing. Have a look if you know your chart. But Virgo full moon is about releasing toxic habits. It's about taking care of the details of your life. It can be looking at changes that you want to make that are beneficial to you with regards to diet, health, work, and routine. Some people may be looking at changing jobs because Virgo does rule the 6th house of those things I mentioned, work, daily work. Not so much career related. It's more like if you're in a job where it's just for the money and you're just, to pay the bills, that kind of, work. Some people may have, if you've got that full moon in your 6th house, for example, that could be some change with the work situation in some way. But as I said, I'm going to go through the signs in a minute. Also, it's about purification and self-improvement and improvement in whatever area of life that whatever sector of your chart the full moon falls in. You'll be releasing something that's not good and purifying and then improving. So it could be anything. And again, as I said, I'll go through each sign for that in a minute. But with any full moon, it's a good time to release things, to surrender, to let go of anything that's not working for you in your life. Virgo is about organization of the practical details of your life. So you may be organizing things, you may be decluttering, you may be working on health, all that sort of stuff. Or there could be something with pets as well, because Virgo does relate to small pets as in cats and dogs and stuff like that. All right. Other than that, this week we have Pluto trine Mars, which is a very strong energy. So Pluto in Capricorn trining Mars in Taurus. If you have anything in Capricorn, Taurus, or Virgo at 25 degrees, because that's where the Pluto trine Mars is happening, this is actually an empowering week for you, anyone that has 25 or so. So I'd say either side of 25 would be like from 22 degrees to about 27 or so, maybe even 28 degrees. You could feel this empowering energy around you this week. You may feel quite energized, like you can get quite a bit done if you've got anything in earth signs around those degrees. And lastly, on the 26th, actually just before the full moon, Venus goes into Pisces, which is exalted, so meaning it's the best placement in astrology for Venus to be in. So Venus in Pisces is very idealistic, it's very dreamy, it's very it can be very compassionate energy. So this Venus, you know, it's about relationships, and it can be that you're feeling very idealistic about love. You could be feeling also very creative, to do with music, art, creating anything, doing anything that's in the arts, or in the arts, you know, field. So that could be a lot of things. It could be acting, even for some people, you know, if you do drama workshops, if you do, if you're interested in, you know, painting, drawing, that sort of thing. You could be more into it as we go into Pisces season and Venus into Pisces as well. The only thing with Venus in Pisces is it can be a little bit boundaryless, and especially because we have Sun in Pisces as well. So we may be feeling that in difficult situations at this time and during this phase, these next couple of weeks plus, these next several weeks, if you're someone that's like an empath and you have struggled in your life with your boundaries, these next few weeks may be a little bit more challenging with boundaries. Okay, so just be aware of that if you're a sensitive, if you're a highly sensitive person, an empath, because what can happen when there's so much Piscean energy, you can tend to just find it a little bit more difficult to sort of draw boundaries with people that you need to draw boundaries with, or to say no to things. That's another thing. And even with a full moon in Virgo, it can be difficult to say no, because it can be a desire to be of service, to help others, that sometimes becomes self-sacrificing or even harmful to ourselves. So that's something to definitely watch out for. All right, so now I think that's most of the key things that I really wanted to mention. I'm going to go through each sign. So I'm going to start with Aries. I just need to drink some water. Okay, Aries. So the full moon in Virgo falls in your 6th house, which is the Virgo house, and so this is going to be about your health, your work, your routine, your daily routine, your daily life details, and especially when it comes to work, being extra aware of the details, the important details that are going on. And there could be some culmination in the workplace in some way. Okay, so there could be something that comes to a head at the workplace. There could be some kind of issue that comes to a head and then shifts and changes in the workplace. It could also be, for some, be health related, so do pay attention to your health areas. With the full moon in your 6th house, you may be feeling more sensitive on the level of your stomach, on your intestines, because, you know, Virgo rules the intestines and it is in your 6th house of health. You could be feeling more sensitive on the level of your nervous system. You may be wanting to do something like yoga or meditation practice to help feel more purified and more balanced and less anxious. It can be a little bit of an anxiety producing energy with the full moon in the 6th house for Aries. Okay, for Taurus, this is in your 5th house of romance, children, creativity, self-expression, self-love. So something is coming to a head here for you in those areas of life. If you have children and you're a Taurus, this week with the full moon, you may feel like your children require extra attention, especially could be if they're school age. There may be more paperwork, like, you know, letters sent home, more things to sign, you know, emails to receive, certain things, you know, that you need to really be across and be paying attention to the details about. So I'd say there's something, if you have kids, like that coming up. If you don't have children, it could be that you want to do something very hands-on and creative, because the Virgo energy in the creative 5th house could be, I want to make jewelry, or I want to use my hands to paint, or I want to do some gardening, you know, very earthy energy there as well. I want to change something up that feels creative, like I want to organize my creative space if I have a creative space. I want to, you know, get some new, say you're into painting, you might want to, you know, check out which paints need to be thrown out and what colors you need to get new ones of, you know, just an example of how that would work with these energies. And purification when it comes to self-love, so self-value. So that could be something that you're pondering or that you're analyzing around issues related to self-care and self-love. For Gemini, this is in your 4th house of home life. So There's a culmination in the home life for Gemini, so something may be coming to a head at home. You may be making some kind of changes in the home, or planning something, you know, for the future that's home related. You may be looking into reorganizing something in the home, redistributing something in the home. Like if you've got something set up in a certain way, you may want to change it around, Gemini. If you have pets in the home, that could also relate, because Virgo is pets, Virgo energy in 4th house, obviously, in the home. There could be something to do with a female relative also this week, Gemini. You may want to talk to a female that you know very well to get advice, or you may want to speak to somebody that can help you understand something that you're going through, or, you know, kind of analyze the situation with someone close to you. That's probably female. There could be paperwork that you're working on. So if you have your own business, you may be like going through, keeping up to date with all your documents and kind of spending some time looking at that. You may be changing and reorganizing things in the home. Cancer, this is in your 3rd house of communications, networking, social media, and friends, siblings, relatives, and day-to-day life. So for Cancer, there is some culmination in this area to do with your communication. So something very important maybe that you want to communicate to somebody that is of an emotional nature, but you've also analyzed the situation and using a lot of logic here as well. You're possibly feeling very analytical, Cancer, like you're really trying to understand something that you're going through, and you're really spending a lot of time in your head under this full moon. So you may want to write out your emotions, Cancer, if things are getting a bit too much in some way. This can be journaling, this can be writing someone a letter that's important. This could be connecting, communicating, teaching, instructing, something very important, or something coming to a head in terms of your thinking about your life in some significant way. Can be a connection with someone coming to an end, like a friendship or an acquaintance, or it could be you're changing something about the way you live your day-to-day life, because that is the 3rd house. There could be an issue with a sibling that comes up as well, because the 3rd house is siblings, or a relative as well, under the full moon's influence. Leo, excuse me, this is in your 2nd house of earned money and the physical body, and the money that you earn from the work that you do. So Leo, this is very earthy energy. So you may be looking at how you use your finances under this full moon. You may be looking at you know, how you invest bits of money, or where you place your money. Is it working for you? Analyzing that. You could also be looking at your physical body health and wanting to do something to improve your physical health, or get back into something that you used to love doing that's for your mind, body, soul well-being. Virgo, this is obviously in your 1st house of self. So for Virgos, this is a releasing of anything that's toxic, old habits that affect your physical sense of well-being, your physical health. And looking at incorporating something new. It can be a change on your path, so it could be anything from changing a work situation, changing your path in some way, changing direction, looking at things differently in your life, like having realizations and thinking to yourself, well, I need to focus my energy in specific ways and release what, you know, I can't control, and just work with what I can control, because Virgo can be quite controlling energy as well. In the 1st house, it's like, maybe for Virgos, you have to realize that you can't control every facet of your life, that you can only control the things that you know work for you in that way. So there can be a lot of focused energy with regards to moving forward with your life path in some way as well. And for Libra, this is in your 12th house, so it could be letting go of old psychological limitations where you thought, you know, things must be this way or that way, or for it to work, you know, something has to feel exactly right, or make sense, you know, be all lined up in a particular way for it to work. But you're kind of letting go of that and having a bit more trust and being more in the flow. There could be some needing to release a psychological struggle or issues from the past that have been gnawing away at your mind. There could be things from the past that you're just wanting to release, and a different way of, you know, operating in your life that helps you feel a bit more freed up, Libra. For Scorpio, this is in your 11th house of friends, connections, groups, so, and wishes. So you could be feeling like you need to let go of a friend who may feel a little bit toxic at this time. and you may be looking at letting go of any groups that you're involved with that feel toxic or unhealthy, or just you're kind of drained from the energy of it. You may be just wanting to focus more on your own personal energy rather than get caught up in a lot of details to do with what other people's concerns are or what other people's emotional struggles or problems are. So that could be how that works for Scorpio. There could be like feeling drained by groups, or feeling like you need to let go of, as I said, a friendship or a connection, or just have some distance with that because maybe you've been analyzing a friendship or a connection and it's kind of not feeling very good at this time. Sagittarius, this is in the 10th house of your career and your goals. So there could be a change, Sagittarius, with your work situation. There could be like a new job, a new path opening up with your goals, a need to reevaluate how you go about attaining your goals. That could be another way that this comes in for Sagittarius. But for a lot of Sagittarians, it can be a change of career, change of work situation, a change up in that regard. Capricorn, it's in your 9th house of higher mind, education, and foreign connection. So for Capricorn, you may be releasing some kind of emotions or feelings about something to do with travel, or someone who is from a foreign culture to you. Maybe you're feeling like right at this time you just got to let go of someone. If there's like a long distance situation, or someone that you haven't seen for a while who's from another culture that you have a connection to, you may be wanting to kind of let go a little bit. There can be also a connection with releasing old mental habits that are limiting, or obsessive thoughts about any kind of situation that's been on your mind, Capricorn. So there may be a releasing of worry as well, to do with an emotional attachment with someone at a distance or someone from a foreign culture. You may be releasing worry around education. You may be releasing a path connected to education, overseas travel, or something along those lines, or some kind of change in those areas. For Aquarius, this is in your 8th house of intimacy, shared resources, taxes. It's a very deep house, the 8th house, so there could be a lot going on for you, Aquarius, in a very deep psychological sense. You may be analyzing stuff on a deeper part, in a deeper part of yourself, to do with what's good for you, what's healthy for you, what you need to feel right in your health and well-being. And if anything's been toxic or draining for you under this full moon, you can actually release it for the betterment of yourself, Aquarius. Pisces is in your 7th house of relationships and others. So Pisces, it's an energy where you're releasing something around relationship energy. You may have to put yourself first rather than always being giving to others, or like too much giving to others where you feel out of balance. You may be wanting to, just surrender a little bit more in your interactions with others and not be so worried about every single detail and being on top of every detail to make sure others are taken care of, when you are like, well, I have to also look at my, myself and take care of myself. And, Pisceans are quite self-sacrificing. So that energy could come up looking at your relationships under this full moon. Okay, so relationships for Pisces is a big theme. All right, now I need to drink some water and I'm going to get to the next phase of the reading. Okay, so let's look at, I've got just 2 cards in the Astro dice for each element. So let's start with water signs. Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, the Lovers. Well, straight off. That's funny. I was just saying about Pisces, relationships and releasing something in a relationship, or release. For some Pisces, it's releasing a relationship. Could be releasing a client. Could be releasing someone that you is like a work colleague, or like you're moving away from working with a certain person, or it can be something to do with your relationships and, let's see, family. Oh wow. So yes, there could be something with certain family members with some Pisceans, a spouse for some Pisceans. So there could be something where you have to let go of an outcome. Say you wanted your spouse to be, more focused on something because you could see it was good for them, but they're like stubborn and they just want to do their own thing. That could be what you have to release, Pisces. Let's see what your Astro dice say. Moon in the 11th house. Yeah, so this is around a wish. It's also for some Pisceans around group work, around collaborations, around could be clients, could be if you have your own business, that kind of thing. The moon in the 11th house is something that you really wanted, and for some Pisceans, it's like you just have to let go of this wish at this time because you can't force it to happen. You can't make it happen right now. There's a need for trust, and there's a need for realizing that there's only so much that you can control at this time, that there are fated or destined events happening around you. There could be something for some Pisceans around a child or a spouse or someone in the family or someone important to you in your life that you need to let go and trust that things are going to work out as they're meant to, is what I'm getting. I need more water. Okay, so air signs. Gemini, Libra and Aquarius. Let's see what you guys have this week. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Oh my gosh. I almost lit it on fire, which is funny because that's the Sagittarius card. It went just over the candle and actually got a little bit hot there. Lucky it didn't burn. No, it didn't. So temperance. So healing comes up for Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. So it's time for you guys to heal in some way. And you have choice. Very Gemini with choice. Wow, that's so interesting. So interesting because it kind of reminds me of the water bearer, which is Aquarius, and that's also an air sign. So that's very interesting. Where are my astro dice gone? What did I do with those? Oh, here they are. Okay, so choices come up, and look at this. You know, they've both got cups and they're both pouring water. So very healing energy, and something about making the right choice for yourself that is of a healing path for you. Okay, I'm really getting that very strongly for Gemini. All right, let's see what the astro dice have to say for Gemini. We have Saturn, so we have reality, and the third house. So difficult communications coming up for the air signs this week. With Saturn in the third house, it's a little bit of worry. Can be a little bit of worry, a little bit of pessimism on the mental level. Needing to have a difficult conversation with someone. Needing to make a decision. That's quite a serious decision. For some, it's not going to be every air sign. Okay, so as I always say, these are general readings, but I do feel the energy is quite strong for a lot of especially Gemini and Aquarius for this. There's a strong decision that's needing to be made that you're feeling, or there's a need for you to get very serious about decisions that you want to make for your own life. And there's a very strong theme around healing as well that comes up. Okay, all right, so let's go to the next lot, which is the earth signs, fellow Tauruses, Virgos and Capricorns. This one's popping out. Oh, Virgo, we have, that's so funny. The Virgo card comes out. I love it when that happens. So we have the Hermit here. As you, if you know tarot and astrology, this is Virgo. So special message for Virgo is popping out here. And what do we have? Question. Explore the truth. Searching for answers. Trust that the answers will come. Oh gosh, it's so relevant to that Hermit card. Searching for answers. And that's so much what that card is about. Is like going into spiritual self-reflection, analysis, you know, going within for the earth signs. Let's see what the astro dice have for you guys. We have Uranus and the 6th house. Changes in your routine, changes in a work situation for the earth signs. Unexpected changes in your daily life. So it may be to do with, Uranus can sometimes be to do with technology. The 6th house is a house of work, routine, health, also pets. So it could be something unexpected with regards to any of those things that I just mentioned. But there is this energy, you know, the 6th house is a very analytical house, also ruled by Virgo, and we have Virgo again here. So there's a double message about Virgo energy. So wow, the full moon in Virgo is going to be very powerful for the earth signs. It's coming up very strongly right now. Obviously it is, as I said, powerful for the earth signs, powerful for a lot of signs, but the earth signs, quite strong energy, especially Virgo. So Virgo comes up very strong, which is not surprising because of that full moon in Virgo. Time for self-reflection, self-analysis and questioning things, and not just accepting certain things that may not be good for you, is what I'm getting. So like if there's a situation like a relationship around you that you feel like it's not great for you, earth signs, then this week you're really going to be analyzing that, which is not surprising with the Virgo full moon, which is about self-analysis, analysis of things, questioning things, trying to understand things. And you don't want to drive yourself crazy with it. And what I like here with Uranus is that's a flash of insight on a deeper level, a flash of understanding. You know, Uranus is like a bolt out of the blue. It's saying to you, it's giving you a message or a download. You know, you could even receive spiritual downloads this week, earth signs. So that's very powerful. Okay, lastly, the fire signs. So Aries, Leo and Sagittarius. Wow, Pluto energy. So that's the Judgment card. Powerful. Let's see what else. Aries, Leo, Sag. Spring. New birth, vitality, fresh start. Wow. Goodness me, this is very powerful energy, because to have the Pluto energy, which is about purging things out, releasing heavy energies, and spring is like a fresh start, that's very much complementary. So it's like for the fire signs, it's saying you're letting go of something. Also, I want to say, look at where you have Pluto in your natal chart, if you know where it is. I'm just getting that right now. That area of life, wherever you have Pluto in your natal, could be that house where you're letting go of something this week as well. Mars and the second house. So financial issues, also masculine energy comes up, masculine and feminine, because the second house is Venus. Mars and Venus are, you know, masculine, feminine energies. So it could be relationship orientated energy coming up for the fire signs this week. It could be dynamics between men and women. It could be in the workplace, could be in your home life, could be some tension in the air. It can also be physical vitality and feeling a renewal, because we have this heavy energy here of the Judgment card, which is very profound and intense, transformational. And then spring, which is, you know, this rebirth energy. And Mars energy in the second house, that would be like having Mars in Taurus come up. So that is a lot of energy to deal with practical matters, to follow through on something that you need to get done that's of a practical nature. So if you need to do something that is to do with the material aspect of your life this week, you know, pushing through to see something through is actually going to be very good for you. It's going to be empowering for you, and it's going to be sort of refreshing and bringing in a new energy as well. So that was the reading this week, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you so much for watching, and talk to you soon. Bye.